One of the most common questions related to Terraria is when the game is actually going to end. It seems like for years now people have been expecting it to come to a close soon, and it has never happened. Here we are in 2025, like a decade and a half after the game's release, and it is still getting updates all the time. They're developing an update right now, so before we talk about whether or not Terraria is coming to a close soon or when it's gonna end, let's take a little bit of a blast to the past, shall we? Back all the way years ago, Terraria's 1.3 update came out, and everybody thought this was the final update. They added Moonlord, over 800 completely new items. This was it. There was no going back from here, and really no going forward from here. I mean, it really seemed like the final update. It was not the final update. A few years later, we got the 1.4 update, Journey's End, and that really did seem like it was going to be the final update. It was Journey's End, you know, it had all of the best quality of life additions, it had some really cool items thrown in there, and a couple new bosses. It really felt like it tied all of the loose ends together. But once again, that was not the final update for Terraria. We've gotten a completely new boss fight, we've gotten a bunch of new items, and we've even gotten a bunch of weapon reworks that were completely unnecessary. 1.3 was not the final update, 1.4 was not the final update, and you're never really gonna know with these Terraria developers. Are they gonna keep updating the game, or are they actually gonna move on? Just a few days ago, Redigit, one of the developers of Terraria, posted, "We are back to work tomorrow, and I've got one single mission, releasing the final update. My game face is on," to which somebody of course replied, "Okay, but how many times have you released a final update now?" And Red just says, "Terraria will never die as long as there is one last final update." So from the sounds of it, they aren't completely done yet, but I will say I think that Journey's End probably is the last major update. I highly doubt that we will be seeing a 1.5 anytime soon. If they are eventually going to move on from Terraria, then what are they going to do? Well, one thing I'm going to tell you is that it seems like Terraria as we know it is never going to completely go away or stop getting new additions. And what I mean by that is, it is highly likely that we will eventually get a Terraria 2. It is very clear that most Terraria players want some sort of sequel to the game. On this one poll, Red asked people what they would rather him make: multiplayer Castlevania, Fantasy Life Successor, Terraria 1.5, or Terraria 2, and most people voted Terraria 2. And it only makes sense. I mean, the original Terraria is a fantastic game, but the engine's getting a little outdated, the game feels a little bit more cramped now. Getting a fresh new world with a bunch of new content in the form of a sequel would be perfect. Now, it is possible that we could get a Terraria 2, although not really confirmed. Red has constantly hinted on Twitter and other internet forums that a Terraria 2 at least exists. There's at least some sort of concept for a Terraria 2, even if it's not exactly in the works. You also gotta remember, Terraria Otherworld was a thing, so clearly they're willing to make some sort of sequel or spin-off to the game. When it comes to Terraria actually getting a final update or coming to an end, I think that will probably happen sometime within the next few years. I really don't see them continuing to update this game past 2035 or something, and I think that a Terraria sequel is pretty likely. Maybe not right now, but sometime in the future. I personally do want to see a sequel to Terraria. I'm loving the updates we're getting right now. I think that they're a great addition to the game, but to get a completely new experience with a new world and new mechanics and new options, that would really be fantastic. Of course, it is still all up to speculation though, and it really depends what you think, so make sure to leave in the comments when you think Terraria will be coming to an end and what you think the developers will do afterwards. Alright, bye bye.